Okay, so 2025 is basically here. And you know the whole new year, new me, clean slate thing. So I decided to take 1 week to declutter my entire apartment. It's been over a year since we've moved into this place, and it's starting to feel a little tight. I haven't kept up with my clutter boundaries as much as I would have liked to lately, and clutter, as it always does if you don't stay on top of it, just finds its way to creep back in. So I decided to declutter my entire apartment in 1 week. Now, decluttering your entire life in a week can kind of feel like an overwhelming task, so I decided to tackle it one bit at a time. I ended up dividing this declutter by zones based on how we live and where we spend the most time. So places like the closet, the kitchen, my office space, and our storage. As much as I love a good power declutter, doing this one day at a time will make it feel a lot more manageable and help you avoid feeling too overwhelmed. And if you're going to do this with me and you need a little help along the way, I made a super handy decluttering checklist that you can grab for free. I'll leave it linked down below. I like to live a more minimalist-ish lifestyle, but I'm nowhere close to that when it comes to my closet. I'm gonna be the first to admit it. I love clothes, but over time, your needs change, your taste can change, and even your body can change. So I decided to start going through every single clothing item I own. If you want to see a bit more in depth on exactly how I decluttered my closet, I actually filmed a whole separate video on it, which is live on my channel now. So I'll leave it linked in the cards for you if you want to check that out. But if you want the Cliff's Notes on how to do this, all without feeling too guilty, overwhelmed, or feeling like you need to get rid of everything, here's some questions you can ask yourself. Number 1, if I saw this in store right now, would I buy it again? Number 2, why did I buy it in the first place? What was my vision for it? Number 3, do I actually wear this or do I just like the idea of wearing this? Number 4, does this piece serve me in my real life or my fantasy me? 5, am I keeping this just because of the money? And 6, does this piece bully me? So does it make me feel like I need to lose weight to wear it or to live a certain life or to go a certain place? Does it make me feel guilty every time I pass by it? Some pieces are just and don't belong in our closets at all, so get rid of them. These are just a few questions you can ask during your declutter, and if you want even more cool ideas on how to reflect on your relationship with your stuff and even your money, I wrote a journal all about it. It's called the Minimalist-ish Journal, and it's available for pre-order now. I'll leave a link for it down below if you want to support me. To get started, I just emptied out my entire closet and started going through each item. But this time, I also decided to include my off-season clothes that I usually keep in storage, so I could literally review every single piece of clothing I owned. And I just started going through it one by one. I asked myself the questions that we talked about, and as I went through them, I divided my clothes into 3 piles. My yes, my no, and my maybe pile. I'm a firm believer in the idea that if it's not a hell yes, then it's a no. So honestly, this process actually moves a lot faster than you might think. Just go with your gut. Anything hell yes are things that I would immediately buy again, that I wear a lot, or pieces that I don't wear as often, but I feel 100% about keeping them. The no's are pretty self-explanatory, where if the item was worn out, damaged, or simply didn't fit, then I was going to either repurpose them, discard them responsibly, and if they were in good shape, then I'll sell or donate them. And the maybes are anything that you hesitate on for even a split second. I know I just said that if it's not a hell yes, then it's a no, but I also feel a bit more attached to my clothes, so the maybe pile is basically my test pile. These I either store them away for later or I style them. And I like utilizing storage because it basically just gives you a cooling off period. You might not feel as attached to the item in 6 months as you do today, so just put them out of sight and review it later to take some pressure off. But they don't need to be taking up space in your closet either. In addition to decluttering, I also took some time to reorganize my little IKEA dresser because it was getting pretty messy. It's where I keep things like socks, undies, athletic gear, and loungewear. And after all that, I think this makes for a pretty good day 1. Okay, so it is day 2 of decluttering the entire apartment, and today I'm working on the kitchen. So let's go. Our apartment is pretty tiny, so we need to be really strategic about what stays and what goes. This is it for our kitchen, and over time, it's really just started to feel cluttered and downright messy. There's kitchen tools we're definitely not using, the drawers are cluttered AF, and we also need to take a look at the fridge and the pantry to see if there's any food that's expired or that we're just never going to eat. So just like the closet, I just started emptying everything out. Okay, so now that I've got all the cupboards emptied out, the next thing I'm gonna do before I start putting things back is just give everything a nice wipe down so that I have a clean slate, everything's good to go when I put things back. So I feel like decluttering, you can kind of do a nice deep clean, or at least a clean while you're doing this, because it kind of just goes hand in hand. I want a fresh slate, a clean slate. I just want everything to be functional, tidy, and that includes, you know, all the surfaces. Okay, everything is clean inside the cupboards, but I am a little bit overwhelmed by all of this. I'm just gonna get started. I'm gonna go through things that are expired, that I don't think we're going to eat, that we haven't eaten in the last year since we've lived in this apartment. We have a whole thing of quinoa here. I don't like quinoa, we don't eat quinoa, we definitely prefer rice, but I think this is non-perishable, so I'm wondering if I could donate it. I don't know. See, these are the things I gotta figure out, but I'm just gonna put back what we're keeping and separating what we're not. So everything is looking really, really good. Some things that I do want to get are maybe a couple of shelf inserts here, similar to what we have in here with our plates and bowls. So if we get a few little shelf risers, I want one in here. Maybe one can fit up there, but getting a few little shelf risers is gonna help us utilize the vertical storage a lot better. This is a lot better. It's a lot less decluttered to me. We kind of cleaned it up, but I feel like it could just be a lot more efficient. So that's gonna be on the to-do list. Okay, and then dishes and stuff like that. There wasn't really anything to declutter. I just decluttered this World's Best Investor mug. It's like The Office, you know, World's Best Boss, but don't really use that. And then in this cupboard is all our like Tupperware, jars, extras. So I was able to get rid of a few things in there. And now it was time for the fridge. Okay, so for the fridge, I'm basically just gonna go through anything that is expired, that we haven't eaten, and just kind of give it a rejig, maybe clean it up a little bit. The only thing is yesterday, Jeff went to Costco, so it's pretty full in here. I wish we did this beforehand, but you live and you learn. I love a fridge refresh. I don't know what it is, but it feels very satisfying to me. Just like before, I emptied it out again, gave everything a nice surface wipe down, and just went through things like half-used sauces and condiments that we weren't eating or were expired. And then I just quickly reorganized everything so the fridge feng shui made a little bit more sense. So here we just basically have things like condiments, things that have expired, things that we no longer eat anymore, things that we've never eaten. So I'm just going to discard what I can responsibly, donate what I can. Like, this is in great shape. I can totally donate this. So didn't really get rid of much, but just got rid of things that were sitting there taking up space, getting in the way, and it feels good. And this didn't actually take me very long, maybe 2 hours at most. So I decided to declutter a few more things. Okay, next I want to declutter some books. And not because I don't like books, I actually really enjoy them, but I don't like having them hanging around because I often don't read them again. And I have a really weird thing when it comes to books where I get the physical book because I think I'll be like a relaxed sit down book reader. But I proved to myself over and over again that I am an audiobook girl. So a lot of these books I actually have on audio as well. And that's how I just prefer to read my books. I know it's a bad habit, but I have proven to myself over and over again that that's how I actually get through a book. This is where we keep our books. So I figure I can just pass them on. I've read them all. If I want to read them again, I'll probably read them in the audiobook version, let's be honest. But these I'm just gonna pass on to some friends and some family and just be like, hey, these books changed my life. Wanna check them out? So they will go to a good home. Love this one though. This one's a good reread. And this one is one that I have yet to read. It's more of like an encyclopedia on fabrics, but I wanna learn about that stuff. So I'm gonna put my to read over here. These over here are Jeff's books, so I will ask him what he wants to do with that. But these I'm going to pass on. This is something I've wanted to declutter for a long time. This is my PR box. This is anything that brands send me in mailers. I thought, oh, you know, cool, I'll try it, or I'll hold on to it to give it away to friends and family. This is about 1.5 years worth of PR, things that I'm just kind of like, it's exciting when it comes and then it's like, oh cool, I'll try it when I run out of the next thing. But I feel like I'm really kind of narrowing down what it is I like in terms of my skincare. So I really want to be able to whittle this down. And it's just kind of like when it arrives, it's, you know, it's like, oh cool, great. Yeah, I'll get around to using it. And then you just never do. And I find for skincare, it takes so long to get around to using it. And if you use too many products on your face, you're just in for a recipe for disaster. You're in for irritation, for acne, for breakouts, for rashes. It's just not a good time. It's time for me to just kind of go through this. All of these are unopened. I'm just gonna go through it and see and double check to make sure that they aren't expired. And I'm either just gonna give them away to friends and family, and then I'm just gonna see about donating the rest. It's like, it's nice stuff. Like this is a skincare. I think I was like, oh cool, it's mineral skincare, I'll use it. No, I'm not gonna use it. I like my K-Beauty Nivea skincare. This is like an essence from Tatcha. I'm just gonna go through this stuff. Things like moisturizers, I do tend to go through those pretty quickly. Cleansers, if they are fairly gentle. And I really like a hyaluronic acid serum. I do tend to go through those pretty fast, so I'm gonna hold on to a couple of them, but I don't need all of these, you know what I mean? It's always like, oh cool, I'll get around to it at some point, and then you never do, and that's how clutter builds up. This one's a vitamin B5 with hyaluronic, and then this is like a hyaluronic, you know, stuff like that. So there's duplicates here, there's overlap here. Yeah, we don't need. And like little samples and stuff, like come on. I'm really breaking my own rules here. I really never do that. And like some things here too, even if I wanted to try it, I feel like we're double dipping. So I'm gonna keep this timeless skincare because I've heard so many good things about it. I heard it's a dupe for the SkinCeuticals vitamin C, so I really wanna try it. And I also like anything with peptides. This one has matrixyl in it, but it also has vitamin C. So I don't really wanna be double dipping with that. I'm just gonna keep the vitamin C and give this one away. I decided to tackle our storage bins, which we keep here. This apartment has a ton of vertical storage, and this has been the most efficient way for us to hide all the weird odds and ends we don't use all the time, but still need to be close by, like first aid and medicine, home tools, and electronics. As I was going through these bins, some of the stuff that was in there, I didn't even know what they were, but I was able to declutter so much out of here, like expired medications, old cords and dongles that neither of us knew what they were for, and I was able to reorganize and rearrange some of the bins so they just felt a bit more intuitive. And I was even able to declutter some old towels and bedding from our linen storage, and that was day 2 done. This whole declutter took me about 4 hours to do, and let me tell you, it felt so good. One more day to go. All right, so we are now on the final day of my week-long declutter, and we are going to do my office. The space is very tiny, so you would be surprised how much clutter can accumulate in here, especially in these drawers and things like that. I also have a lot of camera gear that I feel like I need to go through. I feel like with gear especially, it's just so easy to hoard things because you're like, oh, what if I need this cable, or what if I need this SD card and all of this stuff. But I have like my tried and true pieces of gear that I use all the time. So I'm just gonna go through some stuff, see what's outdated, reorganize some things, make some things easier to access. And the other thing I really want to do is go through all of my paper clutter. I feel like I can kind of organize that for the end of the year, tax season, all of that stuff. So I want to take photos of everything, upload it to the cloud, and that way I have a copy of everything I need and just kind of get rid of some of that paper clutter too. So I'm excited about this one. Let's go. Okay, so we've decluttered my desk, gone through my papers. The next thing I need to go through is my camera storage. My camera gear lives with my jackets in my jacket closet, but it's actually not too bad. So here I keep like my large terabyte storage drives. my recording gear, some tripods, reflectors, things like that. I'm pretty happy with this. I just need to give it a good dusting and a wipe down. And the main thing I need to go through is this Muji container that I just have like pretty much my whole camera life in here, but there's things I don't reach for at all that I feel like I can kind of put away and label a little bit better so that this little bin is not so overwhelming. I can just kind of like grab what I need and go. It's full of like cords and cables that I pretty much never use, so I think I'm gonna put that away in my Penguin, no, what's it called? I don't know. I have like a really heavy duty camera bag. I forget what it's called, but it's good. But that's where I keep all of my like excess stuff, things that I don't really need to grab that often. So I feel like I just want to pull this down, give it a good wipe down, and we are done. We are done decluttering, baby. Most of what's in my office I use regularly, but I needed to take some time to organize my papers, take photos of some documents so that I could upload them to the cloud, and just go through other odds and ends I keep in here like sentimental items and photos. I have AirTag keychains in here, like why? And this is everything. I did this declutter slowly over the span of about a week, and I was able to get rid of over 100 items. I'm honestly a little shocked at how we managed to fit so much into such a small space, but let me tell you, I feel so much lighter now that I've done this. I hope this video gave you some motivation to declutter your own home along with me, because I can say for certain how much better you're gonna feel after. Instead of feeling like you need to get rid of things just because, think about your declutter as if you're curating your space. You're just getting rid of what's in the way so that everything that remains is what you actually want to keep, / what you actually use and like. And that's what decluttering is all about for me at the end of the day. If you like this video and got some value from it, leave me a little box emoji down below and tell me if you're gonna be decluttering along with me. If you need some more motivation, I'll leave a playlist right here. And if you wanna see more videos like this, hit subscribe. I'd love to see you again. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next Sunday. Happy decluttering, bye. All right, now I gotta clean all this up and figure out what I'm doing with it.